And now, for another installment of Stream Theory. Hey, welcome. You want some snacks while we start setting up the tables?
I love this
oh, fuck. Hold on. Hey, you came early. What?
Yeah.
The invite, you RSVP'd for 6 and it's 5:45. No, I don't want your raisin salad. Yeah. Would you like,
What do you got in the refrigerator there? Bologna? Is that bologna?
Some bologna. Yep, there's some wilted arugula. I think we might be able to...
We can do bologna, arugula...
Crudites.
I got some stale bread here,
okay.
If you please.
Dope.
Garlic parm crustinis.
Yeah.
And this is some peanut butter on a spoon.
Right.
It's actually a peanut butter reduction. If you think about it. We've actually removed all of the butter, and it is actually
just a bowl of
dust.
peanuts.
You snort it, and the peanuts are right in the blood.
Silly. I refuse.
Well, I mean, with a spread like that, with peanut dust on the mirror, you know what time it is.
Right.
It's fucking Stream Theory.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh Lord. Well, my name's Ian.
My name's Ben.
And I'm mad because I didn't get to talk about The Lost Husband with you guys. My name is Matt, and I hated The Lost Husband.
And with that, Matt, yeah, you weren't here
I
last
was
episode,
not.
so you know what that means.
Yeah.
You got to do a minute breakdown. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready to have a breakdown.
Let's do it. You got
Here
this.
we go, folks. We got a minute on the clock here.
Okay.
Matt, let me know when you're ready.
Let me ask you one question. Do I have to do 2 good things, 2 bad things, and how I would change it, or do I just...
It's a minute breakdown, baby.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a minute breakdown.
All right, here we go.
I believe in you. You got this.
I'm going to have a breakdown.
You got this.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. I hated this movie so fucking much. I hated the opening. I hated the music. I hated that fucking shitty piano guitar thing. I hated the canned sound of the cow, that like fucking that you hear everywhere. I hated it. I fucking hated her opening dialogue with the aunt, where the aunt is showing her dead husband's art, and she's like, "Oh, it's very rustic." She's like, "Oh, Frank was a fan of imperfection," and she was like, "I can tell." I hated the decor of this film. It looked like this barn chic that was ripped out of TJ Maxx. All this fucking Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day and La Cruzette and a fucking espresso machine. Oh my god, I hate this movie so much. I hate the fucking dialogue between Sunshine and her, where she talks about where she's like, "Ooh, your husband's gone, mysterious, dead." I fucking hated this movie more than The Kissing Booth. I hated it. Okay, that was a minute.
Oh man, more than The Kissing Booth. That's a strong
I hated this movie
Too good, Matt.
so much. The only thing I liked about this movie was when they were talking about
good.
how
too good.
Okay, I liked how they were good about zero tolerance policies in schools being bullshit. And because they're terrible. Like zero tolerance policies fucking suck. And the second one is I learned how to watch Netflix movies and fast forwards for this. So this is my second good. I hated this movie so fucking much. Jesus Christ.
That movie, because this movie is not.
This next movie is great. I just want to say, if I were going to remake this movie, I'd make it sci-fi. I'd set it on the moon, and the husband is actually not dead. He's actually lost, and she has to go and find him. And then eventually they all die on the moon, where they belong. Let's get into the other movie.
Okay, that's The Lost Husband. That's Matt's Lost Husband breakdown.
I am shaking.
So the challenge was for Matt to get 2 bad and 2 good things in under a minute as he breaks down. Instead, we got 24 awful things. And in the span of 3 minutes, we were able to wring like cloth, like water from a half-dry cloth two good things that you could take from The Lost Husband out of you.
Amazing. Absolutely. Oh my God, that movie took something from me that I am never getting back.
Oh, this is why we do it. We watch all the movies, all the flicks, so that you don't
have to. Yeah.
We do that. All right.
What are we doing today? Give us a palate cleanser here. What are we working with?
Okay, guys. So this is we're gonna try. When is this coming out? The third week of the month, right?
Yeah.
So every third week of the month. Don't hold me to this, but we're gonna try. We're gonna do Throwback Thursdays. All right. So that's a movie. Let's say I'm springing this on you, gentlemen. Let's say it's 10 years prior to where we are now.
15 maybe, because like I think 2010 like. There are so many films from 2010 that I like am still shocked are 10 years ago. I was like,
let's do 15. Let's do 15 years. So that's Throwback Thursday. 15 years or more prior.
2005 and before. Yeah.
We will be reviewing those movies. So, and that's an idea that we've thought about before. And also, a good buddy of mine DM'd me on Instagram, Johnny Pavlik, Johnny. He's like, yo, that Point Break is up, dog. What y'all gonna do? And I'm like, all right, man, we'll review Point Break.
We're gonna review Point Break now.
That's what the fuck we're gonna do. So that's the movie that we're reviewing this afternoon. That's right, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone on the spectrum. Point Break came out in 1991. That's what we're reviewing, and it's directed by Kathryn Bigelow. The director of photography is Donald Peterman. The screenplay is by W.P. Iliff. And it's starring Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves, Gary Busey, Lori Petty, and John C. McGinley, among others. And the description goes like this. An FBI agent goes undercover to catch a gang of surfers who may be bank robbers. Little known fact, I have not seen this movie until now. I don't.
And none of us
you guys
had,
seen
as
this
far
movie
as
too?
we know.
I hadn't either.
Wow.
None of us had seen it. Yeah, so this was an education for all of us.
Certainly, yes.
It was. It was. All right, so we're gonna get into our good, our bad, and the ugly. Ian, you want to give them the rundown of how this is going to work and look like, and the ratings?
Friends, what we do here on Stream Theory is we take some sort of streaming property, be it a movie or a show that you can access via, the whole fucking suite of streaming services. And we distill that streaming property through our process, which is the good, the bad, and the remake. We take turns collectively sourcing 6 good things that we liked about said property, 6 things that we didn't like, and then we take turns each talking about how when Hollywood inevitably recycles this story in 5 to 10 years, what we would do differently.
Which is ironic because they already did.
I know.
It's already happening.
It already happened.
2015. I actually texted you all in a panic yesterday. I was like, hey, for clarity's sake, it's like 11:30 at night. Did I watch the wrong Point Break? Were we supposed to do the bad one? Thankfully, no.
No.
And we needed the reprieve. After all, we've done a lot of rough stuff, if anyone's keeping up.
It's been a rough little while.
A little patch here. After we've distilled this through our very rigorous and scientific process, we then give it an equally rigorous and scientific graded scale. So we got 5 levels. We could do stars. That makes sense. But no, we actually do something dumb. Imagine that. And so at the top of our rating system, we have the must watch. It means, what are you doing? Get on it now. It's socially important, or it's just an incredible piece of art. Do it. Just below that, you have, it's on the list. What's that mean? It's in your queue. You've got something, but you've got a must-watch in front of it. I'm going to get to it, I promise. At the middle of the ranking system, you have something for the background. It's inoffensive. You can put it on. You can be with friends. It's whatever. It's something goofy. I don't know. Get drunk to it. It won't be that bad. Now we start to get to the lower half of the system, the bottom of the barrel, if you will. And at the bottom of not the very bottom, but you're getting to the part of the $5 bottle of wine with all the sulfites in it, and you're just getting a headache. That we have the I would rather, wherein you say what you would rather do than watch said streaming property again. And then at the true bottom of the barrel, the very dregs, the absolute worst of the worst, the void into which we all scream, you have the kissing booth. These are properties that are just irredeemable, incredibly offensive or horrific in some way. It used to be Artemis Fowl because we started off clever, and then it was just the Kissing Booth one was too egregious and creepy. It had to be the new bad. And that's what we're going to do to Point Break today. Are we excited?
Oh, yeah, we're
let's
so
do
excited.
this shit.
Okay. I hate to take us back to the fucking like high school assemblies real quick, but are we excited? Okay. Like, are we excited? I now empathize with the assholes that I made fun of in high school. Thank you, you two.
You're fucking welcome. Sorry, I'm actually still like coming down off of my rage high.
Sure. You're probably a little tuckered out, actually.
No.
That movie was, oh man, we're not talking about that movie anymore.
We've moved.
It's dead. It can't hurt you anymore. All right. Ben, why don't you go first?
All right, I'll say a good about Point Break. Geez, man, the action sequences. I'm sorry if I stole this, guys, but like
they're so good.
They're ridiculously good. Like, why are they so good in this? It's just because like the movie without it is just like, all right, whatever. It's a 90s fucking movie. I get it. Turn your fucking brain off. Like the action sequences were pretty baller. Notably the house, the raid that they had on these pretty savage surfer guys. These pretty rugged gentlemen.
Fun fact.
Right.
Did you guys know those guys are the fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Oh
no!
What?
Yeah.
I should have known that. Wow.
I nearly spilled that early, and I was like, on the off chance that they don't, I'm doing this live.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, it's the fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh my god!
I know what they look like too.
Playing surfer Nazis.
I can't.
Well, there you go. The Red Hot fucking Chili Peppers get blasted. I mean, the movie wasn't anything like that, and then all of a sudden, boom. People are getting
just
shot
like
in the
sudden
head.
Extreme violence.
Extreme.
Well, yeah, like I think we talked about this briefly off air. Like the most that had ever happened up until that point was like some light punching and tackling, and like you're on my fucking strip of beach, bruh. These are my curls.
I just tell that Kathryn Bigelow, knew what she was doing here.
It's funny too because
DP.
I see a lot of Zero Dark 30 sort of in this raid.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
You know, like
Bigelow film,
like it had never even occurred to me that like, oh, like this isn't her first time making a raid movie. Like I had never seen Point Break before I saw Zero Dark 30, and that whole sequence is like taut, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like something that I think this film does really well that a lot of films flounder with their action sequences too is just like the clarity of it all.
Well, the thing is, man, that like this is pre-Born Identity. This is like back when people like knew how to do action that didn't look fucking insane. Like,
sure,
you know,
the shaky cam. Fad.
Because if you think about like action sequences from movies in the 70s, right? You got like Dirty Harry, and you've got fucking The French Connection. These are these movies that are like, they're really fucking gritty, and this is where that's like the history of what this is pulling from, is that it's informed by these hyper violent movies from the 70s. It just also happens to have Keanu Reeves playing a dumb fucking surfer FBI agent. Man.
Also, we mentioned
whiplash.
Gary Busey is in this cast list. I did not recognize.
So
him.
can I segue into my first good?
Because do you have anything else you want to say about the action sequences?
I was gonna mention also the parachuting as well.
All the
skydiving. You're taking that as well. Come on, man.
What? That's action.
You were talking like violent action. Now you're talking like, why don't you just get the surfing in there too and just take them all and then leave us with nothing.
Dude, That's what it is. That's what it comes. I will relinquish that and let you get to that then. But
No,
yeah.
Fuck you, take it, take it. We don't. I don't need your pity.
But yeah, no, that's just those
Dude,
are my
the
points.
skydiving is like it's so good. And like I read that Patrick Swayze did all of his own stunts for that, and he did a total of 55 jumps.
Jesus Christ.
Except for that's not entirely true. He didn't do all his own stunts because for some of the surf stuff,
Sure.
some of the bigger like the ending surfing stuff, they used like professional fucking people, but. For
My
all of the
dude.
minor stuff and all of the jumps, Patrick Swayze.
Be impressive.
yeah.
0% surprised. Like I didn't get the Swayze craze until like I saw this movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that. Don't look at me like that. I did that. Stop.
Well, yeah, I totally get it though, because like when you see him in this, you're like, dude, he's hot and kind of mystical in like a weird cult leader kind of way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very,
Yeah, I got a lot of cult vibes.
Oh yeah,
from
he's
his,
got like a ton of cult leader vibes in this.
100%.
God, he's so good.
100%.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the action in this is really, really solid. The fights, the shootouts, everything hits hard. Bullets feel painful. People get hurt and fucked up. And it's also really nice to watch an action movie where the like protagonist is hurt and then just stays hurt. Like I'm so
Yeah.
tired of this fucking plot armor where someone can like jump through a window and like survive a bomb and then like get up and be like, yeah, I'm fine. Whereas
Gotta
like he
keep going.
took a bad jump and then he's just fucked for the rest of the movie.
I know that was
The
fantastic.
way
say
one
this-
would be.
I will say this: they kind of get like plot armor plating in one of the scenes, like specifically where like at least 2 to 3 dudes get shot in the stomach, and then a few of them get up and like run away for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not perfect, but nothing's perfect.
But
in
It's
this
not
regard,
it's
you know?
not
Yeah.
perfect, but it hits hard.
To that point, I think that's something that isn't exclusive to Bigelow's work, but like very few directors get well, and that is like the actual violence and consequences of something like a gunshot. Like like too many times like it's almost like bullets sponge. Like don't get me wrong, there's a lot of shooting in this that's just sort of like pew 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 pew. But then like when the bullets land, it's like oofa doofa. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a big oof when they hit. I think there's also there's something to be said for the like the hand-to-hand combat. Well, they do like a lot of different styles of fucking action in this, because
That's
there
true.
is the like fucking kung fu surfer beatdown scene. But then there's also like there's like shooting, there's fucking surfing, there's skydiving. It's like a spectacle of a movie.
We get it all.
It is.
get it all.
We do get it all. It's outrageous.
It is.
So I gotta know, the curiosity has
Yeah.
been eating at me for the past like 2 to 3 minutes. Matt, what possible transition were you going to do with Gary Busey?
My
as a
first good
positive
is
for
Gary
Point Break?
Busey. I fucking loved him in this. I thought he was so good. I genuinely enjoyed his performance, especially when you're acting across from a fucking plank of wood like young Keanu Reeves.
No.
I mean, man, I love me some Keanu, but early Keanu is
rough.
like, as Ben, I know you mentioned this, you said this off record, but you were just like, boy, he really memorized his lines, didn't he? You're like, that he did. He's just like, man, young Keanu Reeves had this energy that was so like, everything was like, he just had this like constant confusion where you're just like, man, is there literally anything going on inside your head? Like
Right.
he seemed like a fucking idiot.
I'm
and
sorry.
Gary
I think
Busey
one of the
was
best.
so intense.
Yeah.
I think one of the best comedic moments in film history is now the moment when Keanu Reeves enters the police station with a pink surfboard.
Oh, it's so
And
good.
Gary Busey is like, "Why the fuck did you bring that in here?" And he's like, "It wouldn't fit in my car. I can't lock it. You
Yeah,
know,
it
like
wouldn't-
what's he all bent out of shape about?
Right.
It's just a board. Like
just a
I'm
board.
doing it on my own time, and I'm learning. Like it's for the job. It's for the case. Like."
Yeah, man, just
So
every
silly.
fucking time he opened his mouth. Oh man, but we're
I'm
talking
gonna
goods. We're
defend
talking
Keanu
goods.
in this at some point, like, because
I
like
would love
this
to
is
hear
not
it.
bad Keanu.
I
This
would love
isn't
to-
bad, y'all. We've seen bad Keanu.
This is up there, bro.
This is real fucking up there. Hang on though, we're still in the goods. We're still in the goods.
You're right.
Fucking-
You're right.
Gary Busey. I genuinely never thought I would be saying this, but I fucking loved Gary Busey in this. I thought he did a terrific job. I think he did a really good job of playing a character who is like just like a washed up FBI agent who's still going at it. Like he just, I don't know, man. I really
No, he was
enjoyed
very
it.
good at that. You're right.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to reconcile because the only Gary Busey I've ever known is where it looks like he is a skeleton, like a living skeleton. That's the Gary
Fair.
Busey that I know.
That's fair.
I mean, that is definitely
So
true.
I saw this Buse chugging sandwiches and busting bad guys, and I was like, "Who is
Wait,
this?"
a funny moment. Give me 2 meatball sandwiches. Not one.
And then he like, that's actually a great comedic beat, right? He's
It
great
is.
in this because he's like, I should have gotten a third. Fuck. Like,
Yeah, he's so good. Every time he opens his mouth in this movie, I enjoy it. One of my favorite scenes of his is the moment where you realize he actually is a good agent. Is when he's running over because Keanu's disappeared, and then he sees the guy tumbling out, and he's like, "Fuck, he's in trouble. I got to go save him." And and meanwhile, Patrick Swayze's character is like kicking ass with him, and he runs around the corner, and you're like, shit, Keanu's cover is blown. It's over. Utah is like, he's fucked.
Sure.
And like you see Busey look at the two of them and instantly change tack. And then he's just like, have you seen a kid with a stare? And then like goes on, and you're just like, it was a good moment because it was tension, but then you actually watch him like very quickly alter his plan.
yes,
Like very well.
demonstrably in a thing where it's like, oh, he's not just crazy. Like he's not like the crazy one of the bureau. Like he's actually
He's good at
accomplished
his job. Yeah. And I just really enjoyed him. I thought he was a great character. I thought he was I thought he did a good job. I loved Gary Busey in this.
Yeah. That's a good man. He's really fucking good in
Yeah,
this.
he's great. And all the better for having to act across from Keanu Reeves. Where Keanu is just being like, just giving him this kind of like what do you mean? And then he's like giving the intensity as if he's acting across from like, it's essentially like he was acting across from a fucking dog, but was doing a really
Y'all
good
need
job.
to get off my mans about this.
Dude,
I'm
I love Keanu
agree with
Reeves.
Matt.
I
Do that
fucking
bad.
love Keanu Reeves. This is not his best
This
performance
is
by a
not,
long
dog.
shot.
do that bad.
Oh, sweetie.
I appreciate. I'll tell you.
Okay, can we? Okay, I'm gonna take a moment here. I'm gonna do a comparison. Let's talk about young FBI agents, right? Let's compare. Let's see, Johnny Utah and Clarice Starling from.
Sure. Silence
fucking-
of the Lambs.
Yeah, let's look at these performances, shall we?
You
Let's
can't
do
do
a
that.
side by
You
side
can't
comparison.
No. Let's
can't
start
do
by
that.
examining this equivalence here.
Like-
shall we? Like, shall we look at that? You did not just
Like,
Silence
I
of
agree,
the
Keanu's
Lambs to
bad.
Point
You can't
Break.
compare
I
him
fucking
with
did, baby.
Jodie Foster.
That's not. There's different genres. That's not right.
Fine. How about this? Let's compare John Wick and Point
Okay.
Break.
That's fine.
Let's compare a different Keanu movie.
That's
Sure.
fair.
Yeah.
He's so good in John Wick. He's
How about
not.
we compare Point Break to Matrix? Because that's where I actually think I enjoy him more in Point Break than I do
Dude.
in Matrix.
Dude, I can't.
I think we're reaching a fundamental impasse here. I think Ben's on my side on this one.
I am completely. Yeah, how
All right,
about
we're gonna segue into my first good.
Good.
Then
You do
how's
your
that?
first
Before
My
you do
first
that,
good?
let's compare Keanu with my left foot.
No. Okay, hold on. Y'all can do your jokes here because I'm going to go on record and say that my first good for this film is Keanu Reeves. How's that? How do we like that? So let's unpack this. Now the past 5 minutes haven't just been bullshit. Now we're stuck. in this this trench warfare, okay?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Keanu Reeves actually manages to connect with Tori or Terry. Thank you, Lori Petty's character. Yes, and like it is one of the few times like
it's Tyler, I think. Sorry, guys.
Oh, it is Tyler.
It is Tyler.
Yeah.
Fuck. Thank
Tyler
you.
Perry.
Stop. I'm already gonna be fucking up everybody's names. I don't need the extra help. Tyler, like, they actually, and this is due in large part to Petty's performance, no doubt, but like Keanu like manages to actually have chemistry with this person on screen and like have me care about it. I think that he is sort of like aloof and silly and dumb, but that you wouldn't have Point Break if you had it any other way. You know, like it almost feels like it's part of it all.
Oh man, okay, here's the thing. I do agree that he actually has some good moments. He's terrible, but the
final moments between him and Swayze on the beach.
He has some really good, some solid moments here. I think that's the help of Kathryn Bigelow and also maybe some of his scene partners.
No doubt.
But I can't deny that he has moments. But they're fleeting, my dog.
Fuck. Okay. Fuck.
No. Here's the thing. Who are you going to cast in Keanu's place and like retain the vibe of this film?
Tom Cruise would be perfect in this. 100% perfect for this.
God, I guess he kind of would.
Yeah,
and he's a better actor.
Been
like he's not the greatest actor in the world, but he is a better actor than Keanu Reeves at this point. And
think about this. This is like 1991 Tom Cruise too.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Tom Cruise in his heyday.
Yeah. He would have destroyed this.
I will.
He doesn't have the surfer voice though. He's too cool.
No, and I will say this. I'm actually flip flopping because I do think that Keanu's performance is genuinely dreadful, but
okay.
I don't think that it worsens the movie. It doesn't.
No, it's actually a strength. Him in this movie is so good. Like
the movie's good.
Like him are good in film. I tell you.
Right.
I genuinely think that you made a very salient point, which is that he kind of comes across like, you know, a shopping cart that suddenly gained sentience. But
that's just like male protagonists in action films in the 90s.
Yeah,
like that's fine. Like he is fulfilling his purpose, and in fact, in such a kitschy, glorious way that like it only adds to the charm of the film.
I actually think you're right, because the thing is that I think it would be a cooler film if there was someone like Tom Cruise. I think it would be cooler, it would be cleaner, it would be neater, but it wouldn't be Point Break. I think you're right, Ian. I
highly disagree with this point.
I think
that moment where he's got the gun and his knee is hurt and he's sitting there and he's like about to shoot and he's like,
I could think of 3 actors who'd have made this better. You want to 4? I'll give you 4 and I'll make it quick.
Okay.
Tom Cruise obviously is 1. Nicolas Cage would have been fucking hysterical and still have that.
Nicolas Cage would not be better than Keanu Reeves,
yes,
though.
Yes, he would.
Okay?
Nicolas Cage has an Oscar, my friend.
Look, all right. Hang on.
We know by now that Oscars are not the measure of an artist.
It's also
true.
Look, Nicolas Cage is not a good actor. Nicolas Cage always approaches his movies with like the energy of someone who was like a script supervisor who was pulled on last minute. And they're like, dude, we're hemorrhaging money. We need you to do this. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna what should I do?
Again.
I'm going to act now, right? I'm acting. Dude, I just watched him in The Color Out of Space. He does this thing, and he does it in every single fucking movie, where he makes a character choice. He gives them a tick that has nothing to do with anything real. He's just like, in Color Out of Space, I'm going to talk like my dad has this specific voice that he's always going to do. He always does this fucking thing. And sometimes, when all the stars align, he makes a perfect movie because it's just the confluence of randomness in the same way that a million monkeys with typewriters will put out Shakespeare.
Get you Hamlet.
Yeah. But most of the time, it's just going to be a typewriter covered in shit. And that is Nicolas Cage. But go on. I want to hear the rest of you.
Ben has 2 more. Ben, you got 2 more for us,
at that
right?
point. I also think Brad Pitt would have been great, and Robert Downey Jr. They're all in their prime.
Oh,
that's
true.
Interesting. Brad Pitt catches me in a very certain. He would have detracted too much from Swayze. Would have been the problem. You can't have Brad Pitt because
I mean, that's the thing is that.
But he's not big Brad Pitt, though.
Here. No. I've got a further defense for Keanu. I got a further defense for Keanu.
Real quick,
because
or Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp in that time too could have easily played
young Johnny Depp. I can see that.
Here's my defense to that, because you make an excellent point. All these actors would have been extremely charismatic as Johnny Utah and killed the shit out of that role. They would have detracted from Swayze.
No, I don't.
You need Swayze to be the charismatic one.
I don't. Swayze is so good in this. Nothing can really detract from his performance or distract from it. I think if you have a competent actor who can read that script and it's like, all right, this is Johnny Utah. I know my role is to sit back, and I know Swayze is the charismatic, cultist-like figure in this. I know where to sit back. A good actor knows when to give and take.
Absolutely.
Granted, it does work with. I do not like this nigga's performance. I want to get that out, but it does work with Point Break. I will concede that
and
point.
that's where I am, is that I don't like his performance either, but I do kind of think in the weirdest, dumbest way it works.
I think Eddie Murphy also would have been great too. Different movie, but I still
you cannot remove Keanu Reeves from Point Break and still have the Point Break that we know and love. You know, like
would be.
I am an FBI agent.
I mean, yes, he really does come across as like young, dumb, and full of cum. Like he really,
it's so good. Yeah,
he really does.
He gets that. John C. McGinley says that, or no,
yeah, it's John C. McGinley.
Says it. Like. Yeah, and he was like, okay, great, those are my character notes. Heard. And
just his delivery, his minute he opens his mouth, I'm just like, no.
Oh man. Okay, we're still in the goods here.
Let's get to the second good.
We gotta keep moving. Ben, your second good.
Oh my god. Let's talk about performances. Patrick Swayze's performance. I think he's the best.
He makes it. Yeah, he makes
the movie. He's fucking phenomenal. I hang on every word that he says. Like, honestly, if the Academy wasn't so biased and maybe the script was a little tighter, he could have been nominated. I think he's that good. I honestly think he's that good in this. It's really good.
Yeah, you believe him. You root for him.
Yeah,
like,
you do.
He's the bad guy, and you're there with him the whole way.
It's every time he opens his fucking mouth, I'm like, for sure, my guy. I don't need though him to say Johnny 5 billion goddamn times, but Johnny, this is it, Johnny. I'm like, no, but he makes it work though. It doesn't bother me as much. He's really his chemistry again. He's acting with a block of wood, and it just the way that character's written too. It's just his objectives are so crystal clear in this.
Yeah,
so exactly what he wants as soon as he opens his fucking mouth. It's just. Even when he's robbing the bank, even when he's under a fucking mask, I'm just like, yo,
dude, those
I
fucking
get it.
Eyes, man, they make
those
me
eyes. I was like,
knees,
dude, I'm for it. I did not. I always thought Patrick Swayze was good. I didn't think he was a phenomenal actor. In this, he's phenomenal.
Yeah,
going back to the gun shooting in the air, empty the clip scene. Like the moment when Keanu has his gun pointed at him. He turns around with the mask on, and you just see in his eyes, like they just give you the extreme close-up of his eyes. Like, holy fuck, dude!
I know,
this man is there,
so
and like
there, he was there. He was on, like he was in that fucking, like he destroyed it.
The thing that I think is really cool about this is that his character has so many. It's like he's not just a charismatic bank robber. It's also that he carries with him this intense spirituality and has that not kind of against his not against his character, but like inform his bank robber surfer character, and just like it's so good. He's so good.
Buy it. You absolutely buy it.
Yeah,
that's my good.
That's a good.
That's an excellent good. Yeah.
Matt, what's your second good?
Oh man, my second good.
Can I run and pee real quick? I'm so sorry.
Sure. This is a good time to pause.
I don't. Keanu Reeves is terrible in this.
Quick, now that Ian's out of the room, let's shit on Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, he was so fucking bad. He was
like, I wonder how he has a career. I do not. How? What? Like,
that's exactly what I. That is exactly what I said. Where I was just like, how did you get hired after this?
I don't. Talk about luck. I believe, okay, there is a sense of luck when you make it to like an A-list. I do think many actors can make C/B list with just hard work and and consistency. So I don't necessarily buy into the hype of luck, but when it comes to Keanu Reeves and a handful of other actors who are just as bad, I'm like, that is luck.
Yeah,
someone saw you.
I'm really grateful for it because I think he's gone on to give us a lot of really awesome.
Absolutely, I am too. And his acting's much better than it was before. Like, he's obviously taken some time to really work on his craft.
Well, and I also just think that there's a certain amount of acting that you, like any craft, the more time you spend doing it, the better you get.
Absolutely.
And acting, kind of like writing, I feel gets better as you get older because you have more experience to draw from. You have a more nuanced understanding of the world, and it reflects.
Okay, thank you.
Oh God, he's back! Quick,
Okay.
Keanu Reeves is awesome.
I love him so much.
I'll totally cut that out.
No, my man's y'all been slandering him.
Oh man, my second good. I think that this movie made me understand why people surf. I've never fully, like, I kind of get it, but like this movie made it feel super cool. And also having Patrick Swayze like just talking about the like that kind of spiritual oneness, blah 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 with it. I think that this movie does a really good job of staying true to the premise that it's putting forward, which is these bank robbers live for the thrills. And this is it's like perpendicular to your, like, this is good action stuff. It's that there is such a tonal difference between the hyper violent shootouts and these like beautiful, like delicately shot, like love letters to these activities.
To surfing and stuff, you mean? Like...
To surfing and skydiving and like all this stuff where it's really clear that it like gets you in their head, you know?
I love that. That's a great point. And
gives you a sense of the exhilaration and the joy and the like power that these experiences have. And like watching Johnny Utah like fucking eat shit forever on his surfboard, and then like finally that night surfing scene, you're just like yeah, I get it.
There's a sense of reward there, too.
Yeah,
because we watched him. It started as like the job, and then it like it becomes more when he realizes that there is like a whole culture behind it. Yeah, and that's an excellent point.
Yeah,
how did this make surfing cool? Like surfing was like kind of cool, but like this made surfing cool.
I mean, it definitely made me think that surfing is cool. Like,
sure.
And I am someone who has no connection to surfing whatsoever.
I'm honestly just looking at who to cancel for the proliferation of puka shell necklaces into white culture. Like, I don't know how to stop that.
Right.
Like, that's what.
But I think this is 1991, right? So the surfing craze became a real big thing in the 90s. So yeah, this could have definitely been it. The catalyst, like the kickoff of like the surfing craze. I think there's something to that, to be completely honest.
And I get why, because you watch this movie and you're like, I want what they got. I want that, you know? And also, I don't think that it would have worked if it weren't also for Swayze's like philosophy of things. And the fact that like they're getting material wealth not for the sake of material wealth. Like, they're not robbing banks for the sake of money. They're doing it so that they can go out and, like, do this cool shit.
Party and surf and do all this shit, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He literally, I think Busey is the one who points out, he's like, I'm pretty sure they're just funding a summer lifestyle because in the bank robbery stuff. Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, and I think it makes it makes you, like, spiritually connect with criminals in a really cool, fun way where you're like, yeah, they're bad, but I agree.
And so that like this is something that I'll touch on for because this is actually something that I think is a good for the script that I do want to point out. But like the writings and the themes in this are so well executed. One of which feels very Bonnie and Clyde-esque, you know, the system isn't here to like, the system is here to sort of be like a downer, you know, like to use, to sort of contextualize it in this and not use like other language, like, you know, like they're here to like just be like a bummer, man, like it's not,
it's all those dead souls in their car on the freeway.
Right.
Like we do this for them, you know? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, there is a little bit of that, like, anti-establishment sentiment there that I think is just going to ring true across all times. But specifically something like here where, like, it is one of the few times that an action movie says, like, hey, laws can be enacted. Doesn't mean that laws are moral. Like, just because a law is a way doesn't mean that that's a good law. Now, does it challenge it in like an actual socially relevant way that would push forward some sort of like growth as a society? Maybe not. You know,
no,
like it's not about
this isn't
how like
fucking Dog Day Afternoon. It's
right,
like,
right. It's Point Break where they surf and rob banks as presidents. You're absolutely right. But I think that is still an interesting and important idea to introduce to some folks who they do take just like the status quo as like being good and the way things should be, and this film is like, no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Even if it's not in the most progressive way.
No,
Right.
or in the most challenging way.
Right.
All right. So yeah, that's my good. You kind of had your own good folded in there. Do you want to do a separate one as well?
Sure. My third good. I am going to pivot a little bit. My third good, I think, is going to actually be the music. Is it music that I like? No. It is music that I love to make fun of. But I will say this. It is so important to this
so
film.
vibey. Oh,
the
yeah.
fucking drums, like, like, you know, like
Oh
fucking
my
like
God.
weird like guitar fucking whale riffs with like the like I heard that particular like drum riff with the reverb at least like 8 times over the course of this film.
Oh
like,
yeah.
And it's perfect because if something is getting a little too wordy, if like Keanu does start making your eyes sort of gloss over, like they like timed those guitar wails perfectly to like snap you right back in. Like someone's talking just a little bit too long. Like, oh shit, the guitar's back. I should pay attention. So just a really stellar use of shitty music, I gotta say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely like it's such a mood, and like it's not as you said, like that is not my music, but yeah.
But it sure as hell does work for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 90s, baby.
And I said this to you, Ben. I think I realized watching this, the 90s were just the 80s, but with denim and flannel. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 All right.
God help us.
Time for the bad. Matt, why don't you go first? What's your first bad?
Okay, so my first bad is I actually didn't really like the relationship between Tyler and Johnny. It's not even that I think it was bad acting. It's that I feel like the script tried to push it too far, wherein as opposed to just like the two of them having a connection and like them being like, yeah, she's kind of a loner and this is something special. Instead, Patrick Swayze's like, she's never fallen as hard for anyone. Like, she really loves you. Like, oh my God, no one's ever loved you the way she loves you. She loves you so much. Holy shit. It's like they make such a point to be like, she loves you, Johnny, as opposed to like just letting their chemistry exist. And I felt it was kind of overkill. I thought it was overkill. But this is also the 90s. Every movie needed to have a fucking love story in there, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely, they fell into the trap of like any of undercover like cop movie where they have to fall for someone, not tell them that they're fucking a cop, and then that's revealed and they get angry. And they always
but then
come
they
back.
still wind up together anyway.
Great reveal. I love that reveal.
Oh, that's a good reveal. It's a good reveal.
yeah.
The thing is that I also think there's something really creepy about the fact that like she's fallen in love with someone who just fed her a lot of lies.
Yeah.
And like her whole concept of who he is a lie. And then there's no recourse for that. There's no repercussions. They wind up together again, and she's like,
"That's true, yeah.
I love you." And it's
to be
like,
fair, there's also not a lot of space between her being like, "You fucking sicko,"
and
you,
Patrick Swayze having
being
her
like,
as
"I've
a
kidnapped her,
hostage.
and there's a knife that will kill her." If you don't.
I mean that is definitely true. But like the way you do that then is like when they see each other again, she says something like "No more lies," and he's like, "No more lies." And then
or he's more like,
that was good.
Lies?
no more. What is lies? and then like, you know, that's the thing is that I just felt, and I feel that with a lot of stuff where when you go back and you watch stuff from the 80s and the 90s and even the early 2000s, the relationship stuff frequently puts me on edge. Because it is not up to our current standards in terms of like how to not be shitty to women, and I think that's a big thing for me is that it didn't quite land. So yeah, that's my first bad.
That's legit.
I am an FBI agent.
Like what a moment, man!
Oh, it's such a good
what
moment.
a glorious
Sorry, I didn't mean to
moment.
undercut your other great
Jesus.
bad.
Jesus.
I had to get it. All right, Ian, what's your first bad? Sorry.
Okay. My first bad for this film is going to be, I think it is just a little too long. And I don't ever really enjoy that critique because I feel like it's an easy one. So what I'm saying is I'm being lazy. No,
I don't think you're being. I think it's a valid critique.
in this instance, I do think it is warranted because.
Well, because they could have cut some of the surfing scenes and been fine.
They could have cut some of the surfing.
Like,
they could have cut some of the skydiving. Even I love the point that you make, Matt, about those being these very delicately shot and serene moments in this film where they contrast so nicely with the pockets of violence that are written in. That like I didn't pick that up through my first time, but like when you said that, yes, like the skydiving feels almost like a ballet.
Yeah.
That's great. Could the ballet be 2 acts instead of 3 for me, please?
Definitely.
Like, you know, like if we could just like, because I definitely found towards the end, like, especially by the time that Tyler was kidnapped and like everything was happening, I was like, oh my God, there's another act to this. Like, I'm glad that it's not ending yet because I wanted it to end differently, but like there is now a whole other fucking movie. Not other movie, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like, and that wouldn't have been a problem if we could have just kind of
trimmed it,
just shaved a little bit off earlier. You know,
Absolutely.
I think I got a little fatigued by the length of the movie by the end.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I do want to say that I generally don't like that sort of critique because I'm more interested in discovering how that time could have been used better.
What I think that critique says more than anything is actually that because if a movie is, you know, 2.5 hours long or 3 hours long and has no wasted time, you're not going to be like, hey, this was too long.
Right.
Usually when people say this movie was too long, what they're actually saying is, I got bored. And if you're getting bored, there's got to be a reason for it.
I think it's a very valid critique. I don't think it's lazy at all.
I don't think it's lazy at all.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that affirmation, you lovely lovely human beings.
Right, no.
that is my first bad, is that if the movie wasn't a little too long, there were points that I thought we could have tightened the pace a little bit.
Gotcha. All right, Ben, what you got?
Just fuck.
I mean,
Look, you can say Keanu
Reeves.
just because I said it was good doesn't mean that like you
I wanted to
have
stay away from that because I'm thinking that's too lazy.
It is kind of.
I mean, we did already have like a
man
whole
is so
conversation about
good.
it.
Fuck it, Keanu Reeves is just terrible. I'll go with it.
Word.
I'll have a better second one, but because this movie's not really that bad, so it's kind of hard to.
It is definitely hard
to find. I will say Keanu Reeves. I will say this: Kathryn Bigelow did her best, some of her best work, purely because he has some moments, and that's very hard to do with a piece of toast. And he's just okay. So off the record, Matt and I, when Ian was taking care of something, we were talking about how it's insane that he lucked into his career, because any person would look at that and be like, what? And it's just like, we had the benefit of through the late 80s and 90s to see this guy in Keanu actually take acting lessons while making millions of dollars. So we're watching him work and learn how to act.
Yeah,
while he's like carrying a whole fucking movie. And it's
he's
just
no
so
Meryl
Streep. Yeah,
you know?
No, not at all. I mean, I can't even make that comparison in jest. Even just, I can't do that. Yeah, it's just like, again, like I said before, and this is redundant, and I know you guys like, we get it, he sucks, but like, there's so many lines that could have worked, and just like some of his inflections, it's just like, it's clear that he just reading from a script.
Yeah,
it's clear that these are words that have been memorized, and he just has to push through them.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like there's any subtext.
Yeah, there aren't. There's nothing. Especially at the beginning. I think he kind of warms up towards the middle there, but in that beginning, it's just like, you're not an FBI. Did you do any research? Did you like? How does your body doesn't feel different? Like, but then again, it works. I mean, it's a classic. So like, fuck me. Right?
I know, right? That's the thing, is that time has proven you wrong. But
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, fuck. I don't think he's good. So that's my point.
Can I also just say, it really doesn't fucking help that his character's name is Johnny Utah, which is the worst fucking character name.
Utah. I think it's
like
fantastically
just the worst,
terrible.
The worst.
I don't know if we blame Bigelow
ever.
or Cameron for that one. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Johnny Utah is not a human's name. That's the kind of name. That is the kind of name that I would have a character accidentally come up with when they're trying to lie about their identity. Like, that is not an actual character's name, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. Although I do love it. I'm glad his name is Johnny Utah.
I mean,
this movie. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking love it.
Hold on. I'm doing some research because I'm relatively certain that Kathryn Bigelow pulled a fast one on us. Like, this is actually a comedy, but like everyone, like, that's mocking action movies, but everyone just bought into it because she does the action so good. Like, dude, Gary Busey's name is Pappas. All these motherfuckers got goofy names. The only person who doesn't is John C. McGinley. His name? Ben.
What's that? This is Ben?
That's just his name, Ben. But then you've got Gromit, Alvarez, Babbitt, Bunker, Warchild. Tone. Like, Johnny Utah is relatively straight and narrow for this universe's like naming conventions.
I mean, Johnny Utah just sounds like the shittiest Mormon superhero. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that is a definite.
I'm Johnny Utah, and Coca-Cola will send you to Satan.
Okay. Matt, what's your did you already have a bad?
No, this is my second bad.
What's your second bad?
I really don't think the Red Hot Chili Peppers can act. I thought
no, they weren't good. I thought
were
that was
not
just
good.
Like, I thought that was just a gift to a friend. Honestly, I was like, "Who the fuck are these goons?" That
I know
these casting directors put here.
Turns out to be the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, they did not do an awesome job. I felt like the shootout scene was fine because it was so fucking frenetic, but they were not good. Their first scene, honestly, they felt like, and I think that actually they set the tone more than anything, because their energy was like 1980s, like, sport
bullies
movie.
From school.
Yeah, where they're like, and now you have to like beat them on the slopes to win the girl. Like, they had this energy that just did not jibe with the extreme violence that befell them, and the fact that they're fucking like neo-Nazis. It's just bizarre. Like, they did not do a good job. I get it. It was the 90s. They were popular. It's like there are other musician cameos that are better, in other things.
Oh, absolutely.
This was not one of the good ones.
Even Rihanna in Valerian.
Yeah.
Like, she's really good in that. She might be the best part of Valerian.
Yeah, man.
Like,
fucking Sigaros in Game of Thrones. Yeah, any of that where you're just like, cool, you're in there. Neat. This was not that.
I disagree. I actually
I thought they were so campy. They were just fucking.
I didn't mind the camp, honestly. Like, I thought they weren't good actors, but I think that they did fit in the way that Keanu fits. you know?
I mean, that is technically true. If we're giving Keanu
just
a pass
out
for
of
that.
the 80s, like you can feel the 80s like gasping for air in this movie, because like it is still, like you said, the beach shower confrontation scene feels very much like this is our side of the fucking hill.
Yeah.
Like, well, anyone can snowboard here, not us, not you, because like we cut ice hard. I think that's snowboard terminology. I don't know.
Cut ice hard.
And then it resolves very much like the 80s movies, wherein like, you know, like they're ganging up on one person, and then the cool like Heisman of the movie shows up and is like, I'm here to be the paragon, and like, ha ha, and like just thoroughly kicks everyone's ass.
And then every other 80s school bully movie, it ends with them being shot in a violent gunfight.
In a SWAT raid, that's right.
Just like all of those beloved 80s
with a bunch
classics.
of unregistered assault weapons.
Yeah.
It gets weird.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my bad. Ben, what's your second one?
Okay. Well, my second one here would some of the logic in the screenplay it didn't really add up. These two men constantly going with not much backup for police.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which was kind of odd. How Keanu just immediately, after being arrested, Gary Busey just punches the chief of police, decides to he's like, I'm gonna book him myself, and then he just doesn't. And this nigga is chasing after Patrick Swayze. It's just like a lot of things. Like, how does this add up? Well, did he go throughout all internationally to find Patrick Swayze? It's like, okay, again, I understand that I'm supposed to turn my brain off on this. Like, I get it. I love things like this. Mm-hmm. That's what I give to this podcast, right? I like silly, fucking bombastic shit. So I say it works still. Like most of the bads, they still work, but you know, just a little tightening up would have been nice, just a little bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't have to get crazy with it. You don't have to do a fucking wealth of research and shit. But just some things where you're just like, hey, how the fuck did that happen? Just like, wait, what? I don't know. I think it would just been a lot cleaner of a story if they tightened up some of those loose ends in the screenplay.
Legit.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with it entirely.
Yeah. And again, you don't have to completely tighten it up. Again, it's not like, I don't know, what's a very detailed fucking undercover movie? I don't know.
The Departed?
The Departed. Yeah, it doesn't need to be The Departed. But just a little bit. Make it make sense, y'all. That's it.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, E. Now or never. Okay. What's your final second?
I finally figured one out. Thank you for a little extra time there. What I think I'm gonna go with, and this is like the mildest of critiques, because I don't think that it's necessarily a problem. I get why someone would say okay, now you're just being nitpicky, and it's like, well, yes, that's all I can be at this point. And that is what we briefly addressed back during The Goods when we were talking about the handling of violence in this movie, wherein towards the third act, when it becomes convenient, there is a big shootout wherein a few people get hit in places that other people get hit and go down, and then they are able to persevere for a good portion of remaining time. So there is this sort of semi-plot armor wherein someone gets shot and then they just manage to live longer than all their other compatriots who have been shot in similar ways. That's sort of a inconsistency, because that's something that I think really shines with this movie, is that when the violence hits, it normally is so visceral, so real, and so debilitating.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Then, towards the end of the film, for those final few moments, because it was convenient, and to their point, because it was probably more dramatic, some of that violence gets weakened a little bit, or the effects of it, and so there's a little more mobility, So that would be my very, very petty, hard thought on second critique for Point Break.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, all right. So what do we have for the reboot? of this movie. There is one. What did you say from
another one? If there is another one,
2015 already that was horrible, apparently, according to critics, and I have no doubt that it is terrible.
I actually was curious. I thought about watching the remake just to sort of have a frame of reference, sort of see what they did.
Yeah.
I saw the thumbnail. I saw who they cast as Keanu Reeves, and I immediately turned it off. I was like, I have no interest.
Who did they cast as Keanu Reeves' character?
A nobody, but like he looks like the worst nobody I've ever seen. He's like shirtless and he's got these awful tattoos. Like, and maybe he's the Swayze character, but even then, it just does. It has 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, y'all.
I mean, that's not awesome. That's not awesome.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, you go.
Okay, reboot. Oh, geez, I don't really know how to reboot this, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I'll give it a shot. So I will say robbing a bank is damn near impossible now. With the advent of technology and things of that nature, it's a very difficult thing to get away with, and not a lot of people do it. And if they do it, they usually get caught. So I would say let's not think about robbing banks. Let's say the antagonist of this movie, the group. Let's say that they what was Bogey? Was it Bogey or
Bodie?
Bodie. Let's say Bodie and the gang just rob rich people's homes. They just fucking break into their homes and rob the shit out of them. It adds an element of a threat, I think, something that people can kind of relate to. Let's say they also maybe do a little bit of like fucking fraud or like somehow involving, I don't know, computers and things of that nature. They wire money out of different people's accounts as well as like break into people's homes. I don't know. I think that is an immediate danger. Let's say that they aren't surfers since surfing isn't that in anymore, and maybe make them, I don't know, snowboarders. I don't know what's in. I don't fucking know. Fine, keep them surfers. Fuck it, why not? That's pretty much all I would change, though. Yeah, that's pretty much all I would change, honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's legit. I know what I would do for this, if I may.
All right, go ahead.
I feel like you can't take this out of the 90s, in part for those reasons you said, Ben. So this needs to be like a sort of love letter to what is almost at this point, frighteningly enough, a bygone era. If we think about this, oh boy, let's not think about mortality in the passage of time. Otherwise, Ian's going to spiral. So we have here a film that is a straight love letter to the 90s. So like it is almost Edgar Wrightian in regards to like how like self-aware of the fact that it is set in the 90s. You keep them surfers, you keep the bank robbery, because I do appreciate that. There's like this sort of theme to it where as long as they're robbing for the thrill, like it's not bad, and then as soon as they get greedy, like Bodhi is forced to pay the prices for his greed, and I kind of like that dichotomy. Also, I really like the symbol of the bank being like an establishment that they're rallying against, and so I would essentially just sort of I would cut down on the like just montages that are love letters to these sports, but I would just subtract those a little bit. I would obviously recast Keanu. Like, you know who'd actually be really good at this?
Who?
Unironically, he is approaching the age very quickly where I think he'd be really good at this. Tom Holland. Tom Holland as Johnny Utah is where my head is currently.
And
that's not set in stone.
Bodhi, Zac Efron.
Interesting now. Yeah. Interesting now. We are in a space. Yes.
Have we confirmed that Zac Efron can properly act, though?
Yeah, he has some really solid moments in the Ted Bundy. The movie itself is not good, but he has some really
good moments in the Ted.
Solid like acting moments.
Because the other person you could go like Robert Pattinson.
Our Pat would be good too.
Maybe.
Our Pat might be too
he'd
busy
bring a
for
dark
me.
edge.
He would, and I do like that. There's something very beachy about Afron that I like.
Definitely.
You know, like
that is.
I believe him on a surfboard. We saw him on Baywatch.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I am all for it. I love giving actors who like I feel like have been put into a box a chance to do something radically different.
Oh hell yeah!
Usually they step up to the plate. That's the wonderful thing about people. You give them a chance.
I mean, Robert Pattinson is the perfect example of that.
Exactly.
His career could have died at Twilight, and instead, thank God it didn't.
He knew better.
Yeah.
And so once I have that beautiful casting, thank you, friends. I wouldn't change a whole lot else outside of like kind of making it a little bit bigger and sillier. I tell you what I do though, for my guest appearance from the Crazy Thugs folks. I cast the Lonely Island.
That would be funny.
Oh, that would be good.
I cast the Lonely Island as our like house raid thug folks. And there's a little bit more condemnation of the police force in this one, because I hesitate to say that Point Break is pro-police, because it seems to be pretty anti-institution as a whole. Like Keanu Reeves throws his badge away at the end and doesn't arrest Brody because he knows better. He's like, no, this establishment isn't right. Like throws his badge away. So like there's a little bit of that anti-establishment there. I'd like to tie that into how communities are being policed and whatnot. So like try to do a little action with some thought, with some purpose.
So I wanna jump off, because I think that you're really onto something with yours. So I wanna for mine, I wanna extrapolate out from that, if I may. I would like it to be directed by Edgar Wright. Like I don't want it to be like an Edgar Wright film. I want it to be an Edgar Wright film. He loves this movie.
He does.
Has his characters watching it. Like so it's like he can do a dope ass cop movie. So I would do that, and I would shift the adrenaline junkie vibe a little bit, and I would make them a little bit less of adrenaline junkies, and I would make them more of a Robin Hood character. Kind of actually like delve into the idea that these people are stealing from banks in order to further kind of shift they're trying to give money back to the people, rather than having it be something selfish. Because he's talking about how we're not doing this for us, we're doing it for them. Well, then actually make it about them doing it for them.
Sure.
And have Patrick Swayze's character be someone who increasingly justifies his means, the means he uses to his end, maybe to the point where it gets complicated because people start dying. And I think that might be an interesting take on it, and would complicate things further and help with the kind of questions of morality vis-a-vis extrajudicial policings and stuff like that. I think I would extrapolate it out, Megan and Edgar Wright thing. And I would actually, I might even set it like in the 2000s. Talk about like during the market crash. Talk about like ExxonMobil and all of these companies. Because in the 2000s was the beginning of the Great Disillusionment, right? This is when. Because the 90s were such an affluent time. The 90s were like, it was this big boom. 80s and 90s were just up after the like crappiness of the 70s. Early 2000s through to now have just been a fucking shit show. And I think that setting it at that time period where we're starting to see like there's a housing crisis, there's like stocks are dropping, there's a great recession, like I think there's something that you could play with there.
I love that. That's really smart, actually.
Yeah. So that's mine, kind of extrapolated out.
Fantastic. Right. Okay, well, we're at that point, friends. We got to talk about what we're giving Point Break.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about this bad boy. Time to rate him. Ben, what are you vibing on? How do you feel about Point Break? If someone asked you, like, this 91 Point Break, should I really be watching this? What do you tell them?
Oh, guys, I'm torn. Because, and this is genuinely the first time I think I've actually truly had. I want to give it a must watch, to be completely honest.
Certainly, sure.
Because it's such an anomaly of it. It is so much going on in here. And some good, some bad, but yet it works so well. And I just don't know how. I don't know how the movie was able to be made, and I don't know how it made so much sense at the same time, and how it checked everything off of the list while having a terrible actor in Keanu Reeves. Oh, but then I also can put it on the list because fuck it, it's a must watch for me.
You know what? I 100% agree. I 100% agree with you. I think it's a classic. Yeah. And having never seen it before, coming at it with like a totally fresh, I had no nostalgia attached to this. I think it's a great movie. I think it falls apart in if you analyze it too closely, and I think it is dated in certain aspects, but it's not horrible. And it's also, I mean, it's a damn good performance from Patrick Swayze. The action sequences are great. There are moments that are genuinely thrilling. I think it's a must-watch. I think it's a classic that deserves to be a classic.
Yeah, it's not even the best film I've ever seen. It's a must-watch.
No, you gotta have seen Point Break. You gotta see Point Break.
Yeah.
Well, there are some things where the sum is greater than all of its parts. You know, its parts
Absolutely.
And I think that's definitely something that's happening here, is that there are a lot of parts, a lot of great parts, some flawed parts, but you blend them together, baby, you got a stew going.
Yeah, baby, absolutely.
It's
such an easy watch. It's such I could literally.
I would
watch
put it.
that movie
I would put it on again right now. Yeah, I like literally after we're done recording, I'll just pop it back
I could
on.
watch it all day. Like I have no problem with being like, I'm watching Point Break again.
Yeah.
I might go watch it again. We'll see. I ain't got to see tonight between D&D and this.
Right.
We should do a review of the other Point Break.
Right.
I think it is now our job to, yes, but I'm not excited.
Full of sound and fury.
It doesn't get into the throwback territory, but I think it's worth it down the line to definitely watch
we could just do like a separate little spin-off.
Yeah.
It's doing the if something has had a reboot, do like a secondary footnote. That's just like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with that. All right, Ian, what do you give Point Break, my friend?
I mean, I too am in that difficult position where like it doesn't feel like a typical must-watch, but it does squarely fall into that category.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I fucking gave The Lighthouse on the list.
I know you did, and you both
Point
did.
Break.
And I am still with it.
I amended mine, Ian. I amended mine.
And I shall never forget.
I amended mine because I gave it.
We are now on record. You two, I would like to remind you, you two are on record rating Point Break higher than The Lighthouse. How do you feel?
I'm fine with that.
I feel fine.
I have a legitimate reason.
I also amended mine. I just want, in my defense, I came back the next week and I changed my mind.
It has nothing to do with the quality of I'll say this before you go, Ian. The reason, again, to reaffirm, has nothing to do with the quality of the movie, to me, is brilliant work. I just think it's not necessarily targeting for everyone. So that is how I justify.
No,
I will say
agree.
Point Break
much
is
more easily
definitely
watchable.
Point Break is easily watchable. Anyone.
All four quadrants.
You don't like
baby.
those movies.
Yeah, like if you're talking marketing wise, this hits literally every person.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, Ian. I did not mean to be just,
No.
It was funny as fuck to think about.
You're 100% right, though.
Jeez, loses all credibility.
But it is, like, you know, it's not your typical must-watch, but I'd say it's definitely up there, you know. If for no other reason, what they do with, like, the antagonist of this film, this was a good that I had wanted to do. I love it when the writers take to task the challenge of making the villain of your story the coolest, most relatable fucking person. Because that is, like, super compelling. And if you can create an antagonist that you know, your audience empathizes with, it makes your struggles in that film 10 times more interesting. This film does a lot of cool shit, even if it is just like a 90s turn off your brain and go flick. And it accomplishes a lot of shit that more quote unquote higher caliber stories or whatever fumble, you know? So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So a must watch for you?
It is a must watch. Like, it is just a constructed great lesson on doing storytelling well and inventively.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there she blows.
She blows.
Are we back to this whole character again? Are we?
Yeah, that's.
You didn't like my movie, did you, baby?
Right. So that was Point Break. Before we get to this outro, what movie are we watching next week?
Next week we are going to be reviewing I'm Thinking About Ending Things, which is just dropped on Netflix, and it's the new Charlie Kaufman flick. So I'm super fucking excited about that.
Real quick, if people want to find Point Break, you can find it on Amazon Prime. That's where I think
it is. It is also, if you have HBO Max, it
Yep.
is also there. So get it through Hulu if you have HBO Max.
Bam.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. All right. With that being said, Matt, why don't you tell the people who you are, what you're doing, and what's your favorite type of pasta dish?
All right. My name is Matt Frost. You can find me on Facebook as Matt Frost. You can find me on Instagram as Spider and Bee, like the tattoos on my arm. And if you want, you can look at my website, which is currently mattfrost.art, although that's actually going to change soon because I got mattfrost.media and I'm stoked on that. So I got to switch that over, but that's a good one. A little more accurate to what I do. And I am currently writing some stuff. I actually want to talk to you guys about that afterward because I've got some news for you. And my favorite pasta dish, if we're talking like traditional Italian pastas, right, separating pasta from noodles.
Yes.
I gotta say, I really love a good carbonara. It's simple, it's elegant, it's really, really good. It's one of those dishes that you can just quickly whip out, like if someone's coming over and you're like, fuck, I gotta do something. Carbonara is the easiest way for people to think that you care.
That's good to know.
And it's fucking delicious. It's so easy to do. And it's creamy and it's decadent. Fucking put some, there's no cream in it though. It's just like emulsified egg and cheese. It's so good. And bacon if you're not vegetarian or vegan. It's excellent. It's my favorite.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, Ian, what you got? Who are you? How can people get in contact with you? And what is your favorite brand of underwear?
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Well, folks, my name is Ian. You can find me on Twitter as Sir Yikes a lot at BabyGotNack. You can find me on Instagram as SockNinja888, or you can find me on Facebook as Ian Muentener if you care to try to spell that. My favorite brand of underwear, I'm a briefs person. I like boxer briefs. My ma put me onto this brand, like Mazel Sun care packages. She sent me one with these just incredible performance underwear called Spider brand. I think it's Spider with a Y. I think I'm even wearing. Yeah, Spider with a Y, SPYDER. Y'all, they're breathable. They're soft. They cradle. They don't constrict. It is the best name brand underwear that I have ever received in any care package ever, and I will be buying more Spider brand underwear. Spider, you can go ahead and just like bill us whenever for you give us the invoice for all of this ad work I'm doing for you.
Sponsorship right here.
That's right. Ben, who are you? Where can the people find you? And what is your favorite brand of boot?
All right. My name is Ben. You can find me on Facebook as Benjamin Timothy Jenkins. You could find me on Instagram at BenBolio91. You could also find me on Twitter at BTJenkins91. Or if you are a casting director, you happen to stumble upon this episode and you're like, that guy has a decent voice. I wonder if he can act. Well, you can find out on my website, BenjaminTimothyJenkins.com. That's BenjaminTimothyJenkins.com. And my favorite brand of boot, I can't think of the brand that I currently wear. I do like it, but if I'm going to be honest, my favorite brand of boot would be Timberland. I really like how they feel like a really expensive pair. I don't really care about the I care about the quality of my shoe. I don't love shoes as much as I used to, so I don't nearly pay over $100 for a pair of shoes. Just not me. I don't care anymore. But before, I would splurge on $100+ for a Timberland boot, and it's nothing like it. You fit, your foot is in one, it's comfortable, it's like you're walking on clouds, and they're very durable, which I really appreciate. And there are several different kinds. There are fashion Timberlands, and they're also more like functioning, durable, like get to work Timberlands, which both work very, very well. I love that brand. So with that being said, we're gonna close her out here, and we know that a lot of shit is going down. We know that the election is close by. We know that COVID is out of control and people aren't wearing masks, but you are, because if you're a listener, you are smart an intelligent person who listens to the show and knows when to wear a fucking goddamn mask. And you know things are really, really stressful right now. Your blood pressure might be up. Your calorie intake might be up. You might be drinking a lot of booze, especially if you don't have any work right now. You're like, hey, are we gonna get a fucking stimulus package that actually is gonna be sustainable until the end of the year because the Congress is fucking stupid and won't fucking do their goddamn jobs? And you're like, hey, Ben, Ian, Matt, I don't fucking know if I have enough time and mental brain power to do all of these things and watch fucking Point Break. But don't worry. We watched Point Break for you and watching other movies for you as well because we're Too Many Flicks and we watch all of the flicks
so that you don't have to. Hey friends, thank you so much for tuning in again to another installment of Stream Theory. We really hope you are enjoying these. We really love making them for you. We know that we have changed up the segments and structure of the episodes a little bit. We would be so curious to hear your feedback. Also, maybe we haven't covered something that we should cover, or we just haven't talked about something, or you disagree with some of our opinions in these stream theories. Whatever the case, however you want to reach out and interact with us, you can do so on our social media pages. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as Too Many Flicks with the number 2 at the beginning and an X at the end. You can also find us at our Gmail account, which is toomanyflicks.chicago@gmail.com. We are also working on revamping the Patreon, getting a bunch of cool, new, fun ideas and merch and rewards up there for the people who do help us out over there. A huge shout out to you all. You're fantastic, especially Natalie Cole, who has been there since nearly day one. All of you mean the world to us, and thank you for your support there. But we recognize that these are crazy times, so not everyone can support financially. Doing something like commenting or liking or subscribing on whatever platform you're tuning in on means its weight in gold to small podcasts like us. And finally, we know that it is an absolute madhouse out there, and there are so many more important things that require your attention at this time. We just hope that we can provide you with a little reprieve, a little solace from the madness that has become our world, because it certainly functions as that for us, and we're happy to share that. We just want to finish by saying, it's crazy out there, we understand. Please wear your masks, please wash your hands, Black Lives Matter, and stay safe. We love you.